sex drive and sexual function peptides? I know many of you are very curious about this. This category works completely different from what most people expect. We're not going to be talking about blood flow like the way Viagra and Cialis works, and we're not going to be talking about testosterone either, which is another very, very important factor for improving sex drive and erections. These peptides work upstream in the brain, targeting desired, the arousal at the neurological, your brain level. So, okay, the first one is PT141. Now, before I go into PT141 does, let me tell you how it was first discovered. It's kind of interesting. In the 1980s, basically, scientists created a peptide called melanotin. And it was designed to stimulate melanin, right? Your body's natural tanning pigment without UV exposure. So you basically increase melanin without even having to go in the sun, which means you get tan without going in the sun. Of course, going in the sun accelerates the tan. At a high enough dose, fair-skinned people can become very dark. Basically, putting it politely, or mildly, whatever you want to call it, white guy can turn into a black guy if you take a high enough dose. But there's an unexpected side benefit. About 90% of the male users, they got erections, strong, persistent erections. Now, the problem is the more you use the melanotin, right, the darker you got. So scientists isolated. I mean, basically, if you're like, hey, I want better erections, every time you take it, you're going to get way darker. So there's a limit to the erections because you're going to get super, super dark. So scientists basically isolated the specific metabolite responsible for the erections and developed that separately, and they call that PT141, bremelanotide, I hate pronouncing this stuff, so it's called bremelanotide. Anyhow, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to cut this out. The cool part is that it's actually it's branded. It's called Vyleesi, and women can use it. And unlike melanotin, it's actually FDA approved for both men and women. And yes, women have used it and they've enjoyed it. It's considered like a true aphrodisiac because it triggers the brain's desire pathway, not just the physical mechanisms of an erection or clitoral stimulation. This is the peptide for cases where the issue is drive, your sex drive, but not blood flow. So if someone has low libido or psychological components to their sexual dysfunction, maybe they're insecure or something, maybe on their own they can get erections, but with someone else they can't because it's a mental thing, this would be very good. Now, here's my story with it. This is like at least 10 years ago. I said this story before. I got some, I'm going to use it, but like everything, I start low. I want to see what potential issues are. And because it has to do with erections, I didn't want any surprises with my girlfriends. I did it on my own, right? I took the injections. I don't remember what dose. It was a long time ago, at least 10 years ago. And I took a low dose. Maybe an hour later, I felt a little nauseous. I felt hot in the face, red, but nothing erection-wise. And then I swear to you, I don't know, it was like 2, 3, maybe 4 hours, whatever it was. It wasn't instant. All of a sudden, I just got an erection from nowhere. And it was like a crazy erection, like as if I took 5 Viagras. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is kind of cool. But the coolness stayed when I didn't want it to stay. 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. And I'm like freaking out because, I'm thinking about priapism. And if you have an erection for too long, it can cause problems. You can have permanent erectile problems if you don't deal with this. Some people have to go to the ER and drain their penis blood to get rid of the erection. So I'm freaking out. I'm by myself. It's not like I can call someone about this. So I just ice my penis and then the erection goes away, and I freaked out. So, obviously I didn't try it again, but my point is, I tried it again a long time later, but the main issue that I don't, other than, hey, you don't know about the state of erection, is it took hours to kick in. It's not something I could have controlled. And one of my friends would be like, man, I took it and I got an erection the next day. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to take PT141, I'm going to have sex, you don't know when it's going to happen. That's the negative. And I tend to have a fast metabolism. So things happen quicker. And maybe that's why my friend's got a slower metabolism. He said he took it in the afternoon and then the next day it kicked in. That's like, I don't know, 12 hours later. So how can you plan it? That's why, Viagra is easier and Cialis and so forth. So either way, if you start at a very, very low dose, see how it goes. And understand, if something bad happens, put ice on it if that happens. It can also increase blood pressure if you use it a lot. And it works really well with women. So guys, if you want to give that a try with your lady, you can do so. The next one is called oxytocin. This is what's called the bonding hormone. When moms have babies, they love them so much and they're so awesome. The baby can crap all over the place and the mom loves them. The baby can't do any wrong. And that's because women have a lot more oxytocin then. There's a complete connection. Men don't have it as much, and that's why men don't get as connected. So oxytocin is that bonding hormone, all right? It deepens emotional intimacy, increases feelings of trust and connections, and so forth. So, of course, I thought I'd give it a try. Let's see what it does. Let's see if it works like PT 141, something different. How am I going to feel? Obviously, this time I did it with my girlfriend, and I took it within minutes. Oh, man, huge rush to the head, and felt flushed. And that was it. I felt nothing else. Didn't feel a connection. I gave it to her. She felt similar rush. No connection. I felt nothing. I tried it again later. Again, rush, this and that, but nothing physical, this and that. So again, maybe it just doesn't work for me. Maybe I'm broken. It also comes in a nasal spray. I did the injection. It also amplifies emotional states. So keep that in mind. If you're good, it's going to be better. If not, it could be short-lived. So just keep that in mind. Let me know if you try it, how it works for you. But again, more importantly, post your questions below. Let me know how this was helpful and share it with someone else. And if you're not already subscribed, please do so. And thanks again for watching all the way. Take care. Bye.